Welcome to Short Movie Channel. Our movie today begins with a businessman named Julian, who is announcing his new resort called Vice. This resort is completely different from any other, as it offers features that are being introduced to the world for the first time. The resort allows its members to live out their dreams without any rules. For example, they can steal, use drugs, and even kill, all without facing any consequences. This is what made Vice gain massive popularity, attracting thousands of people. At the same time, we meet a police officer named Roy, who strongly opposes what's happening at the resort. His concern stems from the fact that people in the city are flocking to Vice, where there are no laws, leaving the police with no role in the city. So, when Roy finds out that a resident of Vice killed someone from outside the resort, he immediately heads there to track him down and arrest him for crossing the line. Elsewhere, we see a girl named Kelly and her friend Mel. Mel wakes Kelly up and celebrates her because it's Kelly's last day at work before she sets off to explore the world, a dream she's been longing to achieve. However, Kelly seems upset. When Mel asks her why, Kelly tells her she had a strange dream. In the dream, Kelly was running, trying to escape from something unknown, until she reached a temple and went inside to hide. Inside the temple, she felt safe. After waking up, she drew the temple she had seen in her dream. But Mel reassures her, saying it's just a dream and nothing to worry about. Meanwhile, Roy captures the criminal who had killed the girl. At the time of his arrest, the criminal was attacking another girl and was about to kill her. Roy saves the girl, arrests the criminal, and takes the girl to a safe place so she can return home. As for Kelly, she heads to work, where she and her friend Mel work at a nightclub. While Mel celebrates Kelly's last day at work again, a young man is sitting at the bar. Kelly goes to take his order and tells him she likes his shirt. The young man responds with sadness, saying the shirt belonged to someone dear to him who is no longer around. He then tells Kelly he overheard her conversation with her friend and asks about her plans after leaving work. She tells him she plans to travel, explore the world, and make her dream come true. But at the same time, Kelly was feeling scared because it was her first time traveling. The young man encourages her and tells her that it's natural to feel scared, but she shouldn't let fear control her. At that moment, Kelly starts feeling attracted to him and invites him to have dinner together after her work shift ends. However, he politely declines, saying he's busy. After Kelly and Mel finish their work, they go out together. Suddenly, a local resident appears and approaches them, trying to harass them. When Mel refuses to respond to his advances or go with him, he pulls out a gun and shoots her without any hesitation. Kelly is horrified and tries to save Mel, asking for help from the people around them who were just standing there watching and not even attempting to intervene or stop what was happening. But the situation doesn't end there. The same man grabs Kelly and tries to strangle her. Despite her desperate attempts to resist him with all her strength, Kelly is no match for him, and he kills her. Meanwhile, Julian is watching everything unfold and orders security to transport Kelly and Mel to the modification center. Indeed, both of them are taken to the center, where the technical engineer starts repairing them. At this point, it's revealed that all the workers in Vice are not humans but highly advanced robots designed to look exactly like humans. These robots are so lifelike that they even have human-like emotions, and their body parts are made of fibers cloned from real humans. The only difference between them and humans is that they cannot die. The engineer explains to his assistant that the robot's memories are wiped every day, which makes them wake up the next morning to relive the same day over and over again without remembering anything from the previous day. This traps them in a never-ending time loop. After some time, Mel and Kelly are repaired and sent back to live the same day once more. Meanwhile, Roy returns to the police station, where he gets into a heated argument with his superior for entering Vice, again without proper authorization. Roy then learns that his superior is being bribed to protect Vice and Julian. However, Roy declares that he won't allow them to destroy the city with the chaos they're creating. At the same time, Kelly heads to work with Mel, but something very strange happens to her. She starts remembering her old memories, which were supposed to have been completely erased. This causes her intense pain in her head, and she struggles to understand what's happening to her or the scenes flashing through her mind. Julian, who is closely monitoring Kelly, immediately orders her to be sent back to the modification center. Kelly is taken there, and the engineer explains that there has been a memory leak. The memories she's experiencing should have been erased from her storage system. He tells Kelly that he's going to permanently erase all of her memories, but warns her that the process will be extremely painful. As the engineer begins wiping her memories, Kelly screams in agony from the unbearable pain. Desperate to escape, she uses all her strength to break free from her restraints and attacks the engineer. He falls onto an electrical device and dies instantly. Kelly quickly escapes from the facility and runs away. When she finds herself surrounded by security everywhere, she doesn't give up and keeps running until they lose track of her. Roy learns about the chaos unfolding in Vice, so he decides to go there himself to investigate what's happening and demands to meet with Julian. At the same time, Julian discovers that his men have lost Kelly, but he decides to keep the news under wraps. So, when Roy asks him about the chaos happening in Vice, he lies and tells him that a group of extremists attacked Vice and even tried to plant a bomb there. Roy offers to visit the crime scene, but Julian refuses, saying his men are already investigating the matter themselves. He also thanks Roy for his offer to help. However, this makes Roy suspicious of Julian, so he assigns one of his men to find out what's really going on. Meanwhile, Kelly has gone to a bar in a remote part of the city. There, a man notices her and tries to talk to her, but Kelly completely ignores him. She hears a news interview with Julian, where he talks about the resort and the robots that work there, which look almost identical to humans. However, he emphasizes that they're not real humans. This means there's no problem if they die because they can just be repaired. They're just robots, not people. Shocked by these truths she keeps uncovering, Kelly leaves the bar, only to find Julian's assistant and his men waiting for her. They demand she comes with them quietly, but Kelly refuses and quickly escapes before they can catch her. She runs until she reaches an abandoned place where she hides. Julian's assistant warns her that this is her last chance to come out willingly, or they'll use force to bring her back. Kelly decides to take a risky escape route, throwing herself from the building to avoid being captured. Luckily, she lands on a car and doesn't get hurt. She immediately runs away before they can catch up to her. Around the same time, Roy receives new information about Vice. He learns that one of the employees at the resort has escaped, and he also gets her description. Roy starts investigating her whereabouts by returning to the police station and reviewing the security cameras around Vice. To his surprise, he discovers that a girl matching her description, named Michelle, is supposed to be dead. The only living relative she has is someone named Evan. Roy gets Evan's address and goes to meet him. Meanwhile, Kelly is still on the run from Julian's men. She eventually finds herself at a temple, which she recognizes from her dreams. Inside, she meets the same man she saw at the bar earlier. At first, she doesn't remember him and is scared of him, but he reassures her. He tells her that he's an old friend of hers and his name is Evan. Evan then removes the bracelet on her wrist, revealing that they'd been tracking her using the bracelet. He tells her he's been living in the temple because it's abandoned and no one ever comes there. Kelly becomes convinced when she finds several photos of a woman who looks exactly like her. When she asks him about the woman, he tells her that it's Michelle, his late wife, who passed away years ago due to cancer. He admits that he was devastated because he didn't get to spend enough time with her due to his work. Evan reveals that he created Kelly as a replica of his wife so he could remember her and feel like she was still with him, even if only for a few minutes. When Kelly asks him about Vice and whether he was involved in its creation, Evan explains that he was completely against the idea. However, Julian, who was his business partner, had all the resources and money. Julian eventually forced Evan out of the project and completed it on his own. Not only that, but Julian also took Kelly away from him. Kelly starts to remember and tells Evan that she's seen him several times at the bar where she worked. Evan admits that he used to visit her occasionally to check on her. While Evan prepares for them to escape together, Roy and his men show up. Roy interrogates Evan, asking if he knows Kelly or Michelle. Evan lies and denies knowing either of them. But as Roy gets closer to him, Evan tries to attack him. However, Roy is faster and knocks him to the ground. At that moment, Kelly appears behind Roy and hits him on the head, helping Evan escape. Together, Kelly and Evan flee. Roy tries to follow them but doesn't catch up. He then enters the temple and discovers all the information in Evan's room. At the same time, Evan takes Kelly and goes to his friend James, who is a senior software engineer. Evan asks James to erase all of Kelly's data from the Vice system and create a new identity for her so she can travel safely. James agrees and helps him achieve this. Not only that, but James also erases all of Evan's data and gives him a new identity so he can escape with Kelly. During their conversation, James tells Kelly that he can upload any skill or ability she wants to her system. James explains to them that there's a boat waiting for them at the port, and that they can use it to escape out of the country. He even gives them his car so they can drive to the port. Evan expresses his gratitude to James for all his help and sets off with Kelly to the place where the boat is supposed to depart. While waiting at the port, Evan has a heartfelt conversation with Kelly and gives her his wedding ring from his late wife, Michelle, asking her to live a real life with him. At the same time, Roy discovers their location and reaches them before they can escape. Roy tells Evan that Julian has also found out where they are and that his men will be there within minutes. Roy makes it clear that he's not against them, but he needs to arrest Kelly. If he's certain that she hasn't revealed any secrets, he promises to release her and let them go. At that moment, Julian's men attack. Evan tries to protect Kelly but gets shot in the process. He urges her to run, but Kelly refuses to leave him behind. Evan dies in Kelly's arms, calling her by his late wife's name, Michelle. Meanwhile, Roy manages to take out all of Julian's men. Afterward, Roy gives Kelly a choice: either he'll let her escape without pursuing her, or she can help him destroy Vice for good. Kelly agrees to help him, seeking revenge for Evan and everyone who suffered because of Vice. She returns with Roy to James and asks him to upgrade her system. She also requests to learn martial arts and asks him to upload a virus that will restore the memories of all the robots in Vice. James successfully fulfills all her requests. Kelly and Roy return to Vice and easily infiltrate the resort. She tells Roy that she wants to take down Julian herself, and asks him to head to the control room to release the virus into the robot systems. Kelly makes her way to Julian's office and easily defeats the guards in her path. However, when she reaches him, she's shocked to find herself unable to move or harm him. Julian reveals to her that the robots were designed so they cannot harm him. Julian's men capture Kelly with ease and take her to the modification room. There, Julian tells her that he's going to erase all her memories. By the next day, she'll return to her normal life at the resort, with no recollection of what happened. Kelly fights back with all her strength, but unfortunately she fails. Meanwhile, Roy reaches the control room and takes full control. He spares only one engineer and forces him to release the virus into all the robot systems. The virus spreads, and all the robots begin regaining their past memories. Chaos erupts throughout the resort. When Julian hears the news, he tries to stop it, but it's too late. Roy arrives to rescue Kelly, but Julian is faster and shoots him in the shoulder. As Julian turns to finish Kelly off, Roy steps in and shoots him multiple times until he's finally taken down. Roy and Kelly look at the chaos that has overtaken Vice. Kelly reunites with her friend Mal and reassures her that their lives will be better now because they'll finally live in the real world. In the end, Roy achieves his goal of eliminating Vice and all the corruption within it. In the final scene, we see that Julian is still alive, hinting that the story isn't over yet. And that's how today's movie ends. I hope you all enjoyed this recap. Don't forget to support us by liking the video and subscribing to the channel.